Hi, Assalamualaikum. We are from Group 3. We'll present a documentary about the dark side of chocolate.
The Dark Side of Chocolate is a documentary film concerning the exploitation and slave trade of African children for the purpose of harvesting chocolate. They were aware that the Ivory Coast is the world's largest cocoa producer, but there were reports of child labor and child trafficking. Mr. Miki Mistrati, a journalist who conducted study into the origins of cocoa beans. The children, range in age from 10 to 15, are forced to do hard and often hazardous labor, are often beaten, and according to the film's narrator, most are never paid. The narrator also claims that most of them stay with the plantation until they die and never seeing their families again. We all love our chocolate and are quick to enjoy it without hesitation. But how much do we know about how chocolate is produced? In this presentation explores the widespread use of forced child labor on cocoa farms in West Africa. Unfortunately, these children are sold for as little as $30 by their own parents to dealers for better education. Yet, they are enslaved in cocoa plantation, picking cocoa beans to satisfy our desire for chocolate. As consumers, we have great power to oppose the use of child labor in chocolate production.
Next, we go into the issue of chocolate industry. First issue is innovative employees. The cocoa bean industry cannot produce an innovative employee because they use the children as their employee. The children do not have the cognitive skills to work and give a good productivity to company. What is cognitive skills? Cognitive skills are the core skills your brain uses to think, read, learn, remember, reason, and pay attention. At the age of 12 to 15 years old, children have difficulty following multi-step direction and taking a long time to accomplish the task. They do not know much about modern farming methods or how to run a farm.
The second one is trade in current practice. Trade in current practice is the overall direction of the marketing or an asset price. Many trade OPT to trade in the same direction as a trade, while contrarians seek to edify, reversal, or reversals. Because of this, the chocolate industry will face significant challenge soon. The coconut industry will need to strike a balance between the cultivation of fine and aroma beans, which make up about 50% of all coconut produce worldwide. The main consuming an important nation are established guidelines for supply chains to ensure fair trade. Fair trade is an alternative to the national one that focus on the development of people and fight against poverty. The last one issue is nature of employees. In nature of employees, chocolate is a result of the coconut bean, which breeds principally in Western Africa, Asia, and Latin America. Child labor has been found on coconut ridges in Cameroon, Guinea, Nigeria, and Sierra Leone. The cocoa they development and gather has been offered to more chocolate organization incorporation, the biggest on the planet. The coconut industry in Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire has been more secretive over time, making it difficult for journalists to get access to farms, where human rights abuse continue to occur. Slavery and child labor has also been documented on coconut farming in Brazil.
Sustainable Development Goals. It is also known as SDG. There are two SDG that are related with this documentary. Goal 1. No Poverty. The aim of no poverty is to eradicate all forms of poverty everywhere. Based on the documentary, despite international labor law prohibiting the practice, the chocolate industry is stressed with child labor. Poverty is pervasive and annual cocoa revenue range from $30 until $108 per household member. Next, Goal 8, Decent Work and Economic Growth. One of the targets for Goal 8 is Target 8.7, which is end modern slavery, trafficking, and child labor. Based on the documentary, half of the cocoa in the world is produced on the Ivory Coast in Africa. On cocoa farm, hundreds of thousands of children labor are forced into slavery. Also, the company take advantage of their diverse skill and efforts to develop and promote them in holistic way. Principle of management. Firstly, the environment and corporate culture. The organization external environment can be conceptualized further as having two components, which is task and general environment. Based on the documentary, the reality behind the sweet taste of chocolate is strikingly different for African children who became victims of child labor, slavery, trafficking, and other abuses on cocoa farm in Ivory Coast. As a result, when these cases were discovered in 2001, consumers all over the world were outraged.
The third concept is job satisfaction. Job satisfaction reflects the degree to which an individual finds fulfillment in his or her job. In general, people experience satisfaction when their jobs match their needs and interests. The children do not have job satisfaction because they are forced work that make their working conditions are worse. The children believe that traffickers will pay in jobs and promising opportunities, but it is too late when they realize that they have been dumped. They are trapped working long days with dangerous tools for no pay, far from their families and surrounded by adults who beat them if they work too slowly or attempt to. The last concept is negative emotion. Emotion is a mental state that develops naturally without conscious effort within a person in response to interaction with their environment and is frequently accompanied by physiological changes. Negative emotions such as pride, anxiety, and depression were part inside the children because the ethical violations of a human being that are rampant in the cocoa industry. The cruelty that happened to children to work in the cocoa farm due to various factors, such as abuse, injustice, human trafficking, and violence against two African children that work at cocoa farm.
From the film The Dark Side of Chocolate, perhaps the last piece of chocolate candy that people eat or the last chocolate flavored cookie may contain chocolate from beans harvested by a tired and broken 10 years old boy from Mali or Burkina Faso. However, people enjoy it. Chocolate is an important part of culture. Mr. Ratti and Romano uncover a world of unjust labor practice as they explore some of the cocoa for supplying major global chocolate producers. So for overcome this problem, the poor-hearted community can anonymously protest that children should not be made slave or any work. Children are people who need to be cared for and given love so that they grow up so well. Okay. Next, the government needs to discuss children's rights to strengthen the law so that society, including children, can get fair justice. Next, lessons. Lesson 1. Children are not people to be enslaved. Even small section of the work done also need to be paid or rewarded. Lesson 2. Human rights also need to be emphasized regardless of whether they are children or adults because everyone is human.
That's all from us. Thank you for watching.